Hello, and thank you for your interest in the Interstate 5 Managed Lanes project from Red Hill Avenue south of State Route 55 to the Orange-Los Angeles County line. In this video, we'd like to provide you with a brief overview of the scope of the project and introduce some background information. The program for this video consists of a few important topics. The first is the project overview, where we will introduce the I-5 Managed Lanes project, including the location and a brief explanation as to why this project is needed and the timeline. Second, we will present the proposed project alternatives and move into a more detailed description of the improvements being proposed for the project. Third, we'll describe the environmental process, study areas and highlights, and comment review period. And finally, we'll let you know how to stay involved throughout the duration of the project. Let's begin with the project overview, which dives into the project description, location, purpose and need, and project timeline. The I-5 Managed Lanes project is proposing managed lanes improvements in both directions on Interstate 5, between Red Hill Avenue just south of State Route 55 to the Orange and Los Angeles County line. This 15-mile stretch of Interstate 5 traverses through the cities of Irvine, Tustin, Santa Ana, Anaheim, Orange, Fullerton, Buena Park, La Mirada, and Santa Fe Springs. There is at least one high-occupancy vehicle lane in each direction. It also goes through large areas of businesses, shopping, and tourism, such as the Santa Ana Civic Center, Platinum Triangle, and Disneyland Resort area, just to name a few. Currently, the project corridor also includes three major freeway-to-freeway interchanges at State Route 55, the State Route 22 and 57 interchange, and State Route 91. Before we dive any deeper into project details, let's explain to you what the managed lanes term in our project name means. Managed lanes refer to a variety of special use highway lanes that include high occupancy vehicle lanes, or HOV lanes, that are restricted to vehicles with a driver and one or more passengers to encourage ride sharing. They also can include high occupancy toll lanes, or HOT lanes, that have price, occupancy, and access restrictions. In addition, managed lanes are known as express lanes, which are dedicated lanes within highway rights-of-way that drivers may choose to use by paying a toll or travel for free by meeting a minimum vehicle occupancy requirement. Finally, managed lanes can mean truck-only toll lanes that are tolled highways available only to trucks. Now a little more about express lanes. Express lanes concepts use tolls to improve travel reliability by tolling one or two lanes, leaving other lanes toll-free. Tolls can vary based on congestion levels and other operating metrics, ensuring the lanes remain reliable for those who choose to use them. There are several examples of managed lanes in and around Southern California, such as the 91 Express lanes in Orange and Riverside counties. Our proposed project is part of the larger network of these managed lanes in Southern California. Now let's talk about the purpose and need of the project. The purpose of the project is to improve the overall improvement of people and goods along this section of Interstate 5 by improving the managed lanes network operations, improving mobility and trip reliability, maximizing person throughput by facilitating efficient movement of bus and rideshare users, and applying technology to help manage traffic demand. The need or deficiency of the project is that the existing Interstate 5 HOV lanes within the project limits experience HOV degradation, demand that exceeds existing capacity, and operational deficiencies. Funding for the project approval and environmental phase of this project comes from the State Transportation Improvement Program and State Highway Operation and Protection Program. 4 alternatives, including 3 build and a no-build alternative, are under consideration. The build alternatives propose to modify the existing HOV lanes within the project limits to address capacity and operational deficiencies. The proposed project will provide many benefits to the transportation facility and surrounding area, such as improving trip reliability, reducing travel times, providing additional options for multimodal travel, creating construction jobs, and under Alternative 4, the potential investment to help reduce vehicle miles traveled, including projects in equity communities. We are currently in the project approval and environmental document phase of the project, where we are circulating the draft environmental document to solicit public comments and review. Next, we will consider all public and stakeholder input into recommending and selecting a preferred alternative. Then we will prepare the final project report and final environmental document and begin the design phase of the project in winter 2023. Lastly, in 2026, we plan to begin construction of the preferred alternative. So what has happened since the scoping period ended last year? We've held 2 equity community workshops, quarterly project development meetings, focused one-on-one meetings, and conducted a community survey. We also initiated and completed preliminary engineering and environmental studies, an equity study, and other supporting studies. In this part of the video, we'll be discussing the proposed project alternatives that we briefly introduced. As mentioned previously, there are 4 alternatives, 3 build alternatives and 1 no-build alternative. From left to right, we first have Alternative 1, which is the no-build alternative. This alternative proposes no improvements. Alternative 2 proposes to modify the minimum occupancy requirement to use the HOV lanes from 2+ passengers to 3+ passengers. Alternative 3 proposes to convert the existing HOV lanes to express lanes. And Alternative 4 proposes the same improvements as Alternative 3, but will also add an additional express lane between the State Route 22 and State Route 57 interchange to State Route 91. All 3 of the build alternatives will not require any right-of-way acquisition, easements, or temporary construction easements. Only under Alternatives 3 and 4 express lanes are proposed. The images on this slide capture typical features for express lanes, such as advanced notification signage, toll pricing information, and wireless toll collection equipment. Depicted on this slide are images of typical safety features, such as striping for weaving lanes and lighting. There are currently no park and ride lots on Interstate 5 between State Route 91 and State Route 55. The project is proposing 2 park and ride lots, or mobility hubs, within the project corridor to facilitate multimodal transportation. In this next part of the video, we'll describe the environmental process, study areas and highlights, and comment review period. Caltrans is the lead agency for both CEQA and NEPA. CEQA is the California Environmental Quality Act, and NEPA is the National Environmental Protection Act. Caltrans has prepared a draft environmental document, which is an environmental impact report under CEQA, and an environmental assessment under NEPA. The purpose of the draft environmental document is to provide the public and the decision makers with detailed information about a project's environmental effects, ways to minimize the project's significant environmental effects, and reasonable alternatives to the project. Circulation of the draft environmental document to solicit public comments and review began on June 5, 2023, and will end on July 20, 2023. The purpose of the environmental phase is to explore the effects of the I-5 Managed Lanes project on the physical, human, and natural environment. On this slide, you will see the various environmental topics that we studied and prepared technical studies for. The conclusions and decisions of these technical studies are captured in the draft environmental document. To complement environmental and engineering studies, we also explored how the project can create equitable outcomes by conducting an equity study. The equity study is not a required study under CEQA or NEPA. Recommendations from the equity study will be incorporated as part of the project's mitigation strategy. Conclusions from the equity study provided several key learnings and considerations of how to address these learnings. Now let's talk about traffic and operations. To highlight the traffic benefits, here are the key takeaways. Reliable trip time for managed lanes, speed increases under Alternatives 3 and 4, enhanced transit service, and conclusions from traffic analysis indicate Alternative 4 provides the best performance for all users. Under Senate Bill 743, a vehicle miles traveled, or VMT analysis, was required for Alternative 4 only, as this alternative increases the vehicle miles traveled. To reduce VMT, the project will be including project elements such as park and ride lots, or mobility hubs, as well as tolling and managing the lanes for VMT. To mitigate for the increase in VMT under Alternative 4, the project will be considering 5 mitigation strategies: contribute to housing and affordable housing developments, propose new transit, improve existing transit, provide transit pass subsidies, and invest into new Class 2 bikeway facilities. Next, let's discuss noise and sound walls. The proposed project requires Caltrans to relocate and replace an existing sound wall by constructing it to a taller height. The wall can be seen on this slide, indicated by the green lines on the map, on the southbound I-5 just north of 17th Street in the city of Santa Ana. In this final part of the video, we'll share how you can submit a comment and become part of the process. During the public circulation period of the draft environmental document, we encourage you to submit a comment and have your voice heard. There are several ways to submit comments by July 20th, 2023. You can send a handwritten letter to the address on the screen, email I-5 managed lanes project at dot.ca.gov, complete an online form via the Caltrans I-5 Managed Lanes Project website, and lastly, if you're watching this video on the day of a public hearing, you can also submit a comment with a court reporter. Please remember the deadline to submit comments for the I-5 Managed Lanes project during the public review period of the draft environmental document is July 20th, 2023. Be sure to check out project details and stay up to date on project milestones by visiting the Caltrans I-5 Managed Lanes project website, and follow Caltrans OC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The entire team here at Caltrans District 12 in Orange County looks forward to our continuing discussion surrounding this project. Thank you.